to create the information that will provide it the structure. An example of a structure is shown on the screen. You may have multiple schools in your district, so that is described in this file school.csv. You will have students enrolled into the school. That's described in student.csv file. Similarly, you have teachers who are linked to the school. So the file teachers.csv provides that linkage. You will have sections or subjects or modules that are being taught in the school. And that information is captured in the sections.csv file. Then students will be enrolling into those subjects, and that information is in the file listed here. And finally, teachers will be assigned to teach the modules of the subject, and teacher roster.csv will capture that information. Altogether, these 6 files will completely define the structure for us, our school structure in our demonstration tenant. So first step is to start with SDS and name our profile. So I've just shown test 1 in this particular screenshot. 4 types of inputs are supported currently: CSV and API, endpoint RESTful API connections. 2 types of CSVs are permitted. One is the SDS format with 6 files that we saw in detail just a few moments back, and clever format by the company of the same name, which has 5 files describing the entire structure. You could also choose to connect with the data source that provides endpoint, RESTful endpoints, using the API option if the school information system is capable of providing that endpoint. So let's choose here the CSV and SDS. The step 1 of the service gives you a choice to select whether it is first time fresh creation of the users in the Azure Active Directory, or is it the updation of existing users. Then we go ahead and press the button here to upload the files. The administrator doing these steps can also choose to select attributes that are or are not to sync into the Azure Active Directory. The service provides a pop-up where the administrator can choose all the 6 files in one shot and hit upload button. Once the digestion process is complete, the service will prompt out and say that yes, all upload has been done. The service is intelligent that it can distinguish between students and faculty, as these were different files, and apply accordingly the appropriate licenses, which you can see in the drop-down menu here. After this step number 3, the service will prompt you with a list of all the choices that have been made for this profile in a review page. This is the last chance where you can go back, the administrator can go back and make changes as necessary. Or if everything is okay, then they can just hit the create profile button. Let's do these actions actually on the live tenant which we just created. So we go ahead and hit add profile. The service will be preparing and providing us with the format. So this is SS1 school. I am choosing upload CSV. I could choose SDS or I could choose clever format. Let me choose this back. I could choose the connect via API, and it will give the 2 choices I mentioned before, PowerSchool or One Roster, RESTful APIs. Let's set it back to CSV and SDS format. Let's go to the next page. Since this is the first time I'm uploading, I will hit new users. However, you may be updating the existing information, or you may be putting in additional information. Upload file, add files. I can select all the files by shift left and then shift mouse button to have these files and hit upload. The moment I hit upload, the process to digest the information from the source, wherever those CSV files were hosted, will start. It will take a little while, so in interest of time, I have captured those screenshots for you here. There are 5 steps which the service will execute to digest the information completely and populate the Azure Active Directory. The first step is validation of data. So this is how the screen looks like. If you need, you can pause the sync. You can even reset the sync or still go back and edit your profile. Once all the 5 steps have been completed, the service will prompt you, giving back the feedback that the sync is complete. And if you have additional information, for example, let's say additional classes have been opened or the grade has been opened, you can always upload more files. Within the SDS dashboard, once the digestion of information is complete, if you remember, we had 2 schools in our district. We can look at each of the information of each school. So here I'm looking at Contoso High School. And remember sections, teachers, and students. Right now, student is selected. Selecting one of the student, Jane, gives the details of her information. IDs, address, status, which school she's enrolled in, and what subjects she's taking. Similarly, going to the teacher section and highlighting one of the faculty member, you see information for Bill, ID, which school he's teaching or associated with, what subjects he's teaching. Now this is exactly the information that will surface in the downstream application like MS Teams. So this is how the MS Team screen looks like. I'm logged in as Bill Sluss, and just as you saw the classes Bill was engaged in, automatically information flowing from roster to AAD using SDS is actually being populated here. One of the classes is selected and you can see the membership of the class here. There are 12 students in Bill's Math Algebra 1 class. On the left are buttons and commands which Bill and his students in their interfaces will use to interact with their digital classroom. Right to that command panel is the list of classes they are engaged or member of, and on the right, this big area is basically the business area where the teaching and learning will take place.